When your stuff needs moving, it's time to call Smooth Moves.
Just as likely to break windows and knock down doors as it was to temporarily fracture friendships, 2020's Moving Out was a raucously entertaining co-op game that took the typically tiresome task of shifting furniture and turned it into a giddy form of slapstick. The hilariously chaotic couch-carrying fundamentals of the original remain relatively unchanged in Moving Out 2. But the formula has been refreshed to a substantial degree via a more outlandish approach to level design and added environmental interactivity. It's a shame that little has been done to make it more compelling for solo players, so just like the chore it's based on, you'll have to wrangle at least one buddy into helping you out. But when you do, Moving Out 2 delivers tightly packed tension and hilarity by the cardboard box load once again. Multiverses may well have been done to death by superhero movies at this point, but Moving Out 2 uses them to good effect here in order to place you into a series of entertainingly absurd scenarios. Things get fantastical right away when a number of interdimensional portals open up around the small town of Packmore, leading your team of heavy lifters to steer their delivery truck through tears in the fabric of space and time in order to pick up and pack an assortment of quirky cargo. In one moment, you'll be struggling to steer a sofa-sized croissant through a swirling roulette table made of gingerbread, and in the next you'll be dodging out of the way of sliding obstacles in a tilting cottage being held aloft by a giant landlord. Moving Out 2 is stacked high with personality, and its light story is stuffed with so many guilty pleasure puns, it feels like it was at least partially scripted by throwing darts at a board covered in dad jokes.
If you do happen to die, good news! You won't be charged for the uniform.
Like a box of fine china that's been carefully carried to the back of the delivery truck, developer SMG Studio has taken an if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach to the central gameplay of Moving Out 2. Much like the original game, ferrying objects to the designated drop-off point in tandem with your co-op partner is a delicate dance that involves careful verbal coordination and constant battle between your combined inertia and the obstacles in your path. The movers themselves feel just as deliberately clumsy as ever, and their moveset is every bit as simple. This familiarity admittedly meant that, for the opening set of levels at least, Moving Out 2 initially felt closer to a standalone expansion pack than a fully fledged sequel. However, before too long, a number of welcome environmental enhancements bring more noticeable points of difference to proceedings. There are some satisfyingly silly new ways to complete each moving job. Like playing a game of beer pong with a toaster by bouncing it off the taut fabric of an open umbrella and watching it soar into the flatbed of the truck, or piloting a wrecking ball drone to crash through a series of pillars in order to clear a path for your fellow movers. Other features like portals and pulley systems mean there's generally a fair bit more to coordinate this time around, and by coordinate I essentially mean yell incoherent directions at your friends or loved ones, and then try not to lose your cool when they inevitably misinterpret you. Go left! Left! No, the other left! Oh, That's not to say that every stage demands such a shouty amount of collaboration, and Moving Out 2 weaves in plenty of score attack stages over the course of the journey that more closely resemble Mario Party-style minigames in their relative simplicity. This healthy balance between more involved objectives and instantly gratifying goals helps Moving Out 2 maintain an enjoyable rhythm over the course of its 6-hour story. Some of Moving Out 2's scenarios were more popular than others though, at least among the players on the couch beside me. The regenerating clouds in some of the sky-high apartments that must be continually sucked away with a handheld vacuum proved to be exhausting in every sense of the word, while any job that involves the corralling of chickens into farmyard pens is generally pretty clucking annoying. Also, if I smash my nose with one more stepped-on garden rake, I'm likely to become as certifiable as Sideshow Bob. But thankfully Moving Out 2 mixes things up so often that no single element, popular or otherwise, ever really outstays its welcome. At times it even flips the work order entirely, giving you the job of moving in by emptying the delivery truck and positioning each object in a predetermined place. The fun of course comes from gleefully bashing and crashing every package towards the front door, like you're Ace Ventura posing as a UPS delivery man.
I have a package for you. Sounds broken.
Most likely, sir.
While Moving In was eventually patched into the original as a way to effectively play the main levels in reverse, here it's implemented in a far more deliberate manner. Like in one particularly ludicrous level where you have to forcefully furnish a lounge room by firing television sets and sofas through the windows with an oversized slingshot. The playable roster of bizarro bobbleheads has expanded since the original, and I appreciated the way Moving Out 2 litters its levels with hidden character crates, alternative costumes, and bonus arcade game cartridges to find. Sniffing out these unlockables encouraged repeat playthroughs of the majority of Moving Out 2's 50-odd main levels, and provided additional reward to poking and prodding every corner and curious mechanical device I came across. Yet while moving house on your own in Moving Out 2 is substantially easier on your back than moving house on your own in real life, it's only marginally more fun, and as was the case with the original, it remains the least enjoyable way to play. There's significantly less challenge shifting a series of objects when you don't have to coordinate with a partner, and equally there's not the same sense of unpredictability to conjure up anywhere near as many laughs. Thankfully, Moving Out 2 features online multiplayer for the first time in the series, and while I wasn't able to test it as part of this review process, it's nice to know that players who might not be able to enjoy local multiplayer games can still enjoy clearing houses with friends without having to leave the comfort of their own. Moving Out 2 is an extremely colourful and calamitous co-op sequel that's as challenging as it is charming, serving up an enjoyably distinct set of crazy cargo collections that task you with bending at the knees while consistently splitting your sides. Spreading its preposterous brand of pass the parcel across multiple dimensions has empowered the developers to get really creative with the setup of each stage, and the addition of online multiplayer should mean that more players will be able to rope in a moving buddy whether they share the same couch or not. If you're up for another hectic house party with friends, Moving Out 2 hits harder than a thrown fridge. For more co-op game reviews, check out our verdicts on Disney Illusion Island and Double Dragon Gaiden: Rise of the Dragons, and for everything else, stick with IGN.